going on, guys? Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Thanks for tuning in. And got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. First, we're going to start off with the California bill that would create an alert system similar to the Amber Alert, but for Black youth. I guess the Amber Alert was not good enough. So they're saying that, the Black and Missing Foundation says that 38% of people reported missing in the United States are Black, and that the Senate Bill 673 would create an Ebony Alert system. Okay, so it'd be called Ebony Alert, similar to Amber Alert. And it would specifically be for Black children and young Black women between the ages of 12 and 25. They say that it would just assure that the same resources and attention were given to non-African American missing girls and women are dedicated to them, and making sure that law enforcement dedicates the same level of resources and alerts similar to Amber Alert. So, welcome to 2023, and we are now starting segregation. It's crazy that, as much change that America has made, going from days of segregation and now moving back into it is wild. You think we would just all be Americans and but I guess, they divide and conquer is what politicians want to do, so they can control us and make us hate each other. And that's just how it is. So don't fall for that nonsense, because it's just a control technique. Anyhow, let's talk about Ecuador. While our government is trying to take our guns, the president of Ecuador announces that he will actually have a policy allowing citizens to arm themselves and carry, because the crime waves have impacted the country. Why? Because no one could defend themselves or stop the bad guys with guns. So that's what happens when you disarm places. The criminals take over. Look at Mexico. Mexico should be the snapshot for you of what that looks like. The cartel literally runs the country. They have the president under control there. So during a televised address, Lasso, that's the president's name, President Lasso, acknowledged that they need to address the growing issue of crime and violence in both the streets and prisons throughout the country. He said that we've modified the decree that allows the possession and carrying of guns. In other words, in general terms, the possession and carrying of guns for civilian use in personal defense is authorized in accordance with the requirements of law and regulations. We have a common enemy: petty crime, drug trafficking, and organized crime. So essentially what he has done is made a citizen police force. So not only can you defend against yourself, but petty crime, drug trafficking, and organized crime. So great. We'll see how that works out. I'm sure it's going to go very well. And maybe people will take note of it. I doubt it, though. Our government won't, because, their agenda is to disarm you so they can control you. But I think if, this is a good argument for a lot of people going forward, because what you're going to see is you're going to see citizens policing their own country, which is a great thing. And that's how it used to be here. Citizens would really police their own places, and not even just, policing in the sense of stopping bad people from doing bad things, but also, there used to be community. Community would take care of people, the poor, churches would have food banks, and a lot of churches still do, but there was just much more sense of community where they took care of each other, and we've grown so far from that, and the government wants to take all your money via taxes and shuffle it out and try to make it seem like they're helping Americans, but they're really lining their own pockets and their own policies. So, we have a growing threat with China, going to war with China. This is a very serious thing. This is not some kind of clickbait. It's getting, day by day, it's getting worse. But are we ready to fight China? Probably not, because it turns out that all of our troops seem to be obese. Their obesity rates in the U.S. military have surged since the coronavirus pandemic and its associated lockdowns. That was released on Sunday. The Associated Press reports that the Army alone, nearly 10,000 active duty soldiers developed obesity from February 2019 to June 2021, pushing that rate to nearly a quarter of the troops studied. Increases were seen also in the U.S. Navy and the Marine Corps. Military leaders have been warning about the impact of obesity on the U.S. military for more than a decade. But the lingering pandemic effects highlighting the needs for urgent action, said retired Marine Corps Brigadier General Stephen Cheney, who co-authored a recent report on this problem. He said that the numbers have not gotten better, even after the pandemic. That he said that in a webinar in November for the American Security Project, and he said they're just getting worse and worse and worse. Let's be honest. And you know, in my opinion, let's just be honest. Let's stop blaming the pandemic for every freaking thing. Americans are getting lazy. They're gaining weight. Poor dietary decisions. People don't want to work. It's mind blowing. The amount of people that don't want to work. You see help wanted sons. And you have able-bodied men that are stay-at-home dads while the wife's out there working. Like it's baffling. I don't know how a man can stay at home while their wife's out there as the breadwinner. It's crazy, but I've seen that. And the thing is that we're being so focused in the military on LGBT and social injustice issues instead of preparing for warfighting. That's why we are where we are. Our troops are not training for warfighting. Anybody in the military previous to this woke nonsense, man, I mean, physical fitness was it. And like some units you were in, I mean, man, it was in the Marine Corps, like even the garrison units, they PT, 3 times a week. Some units I was in, did you PT every day? I even PT'd one with one unit when we when we were deployed in another country, living out in the freaking mountains, like they had us doing PT. So I mean, it's wild that we've gone so far. Physical fitness is the most paramount thing to fighting. Stronger people are harder to kill, like Mark Ripito says. So, hey, someone I ruffled somebody's chain. Someone says when your wife makes 3 times as much money as you and you have little children, it only makes sense. Nope, doesn't make sense to me. Does not make sense to me. That's why gender roles are all screwed up and dudes are wearing makeup and there's all those sort of things. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. Go make more money then. Anyhow, you're not going to win the argument with me. I'm not gonna. I'm for gender roles. I'm for traditionalism, right? A lot of people say I'm a Republican, but the Republican Party has shown me, like the politicians, man, a lot of them are dirtbags. Really, I'm just going to start calling myself a traditionalist. Is what I'm going to start calling myself. So anyway, it's not about pride being set aside. It's the way the world was meant to be. The men are supposed to be providers. That's how it is, right? It's not an argument. It's how we were intended to be. Men goes hunt for food, provide. That's how it is, guys. People are getting all upset in the comments. I guess they're stay-at-home dads. Sorry. You can unsubscribe. I know you will. Anyhow, let's talk about Trump. I'm going to say things you don't like. Is how it is. But iron sharpens iron. So anyway, Trump. Let's talk about Trump. So Trump made his way to Trump Tower this evening, looking to be indicted tomorrow. He's facing 34 Class E felony charges, and his attorney stated that he will plead not guilty, obviously. So sources close to him say that he will actually do a perp walk. That means being handcuffed and walk through the street for theatrics. We will actually, we'll see on that. He's wanting to do it per close sources, right? But the Secret Service is begging him not to because they're afraid that they will not be able to secure the area. They actually told him that he could do this via a Zoom call, right? He could actually be arraigned during a Zoom call. Push through, thanks, my brother. Yeah, he could do it via a Zoom call. However, he apparently wants to make a public spectacle. So we're going to see. We're going to see how that works out. But like I said, they're very opposed to it. These are AI images. Don't worry, these aren't real. This is something that the computer made up, like when they were asked to chat GPT or something. Anyway, but he will be fingerprinted, and we'll see if he gets mugshot or not. Some are saying he will, some are saying he won't. Obviously, the media will love to see him get mugshot so they can post it absolutely everywhere. I guess we'll see. But now the biggest thing is they're talking about putting a gag order on him as well to silence the leading presidential GOP candidate. And we're talking 4 months prior to the primary debates begin. They're talking about putting a gag order on him. His legal team is supposedly going to fight this gag order, obviously, because this would put a damper on him trying to run. But a close source to his legal team told Daily Mail that this would be an unprecedented step to silence the 2024 presidential candidate. The gag order could potentially undercut his ability to campaign on the issue of legal corruption during the primary. The Trump legal team now thinks that Manhattan judge will take the unprecedented step of silencing the presidential frontrunner with the unconstitutional gag order tomorrow, considering adding a First Amendment lawyer to the effort to combat this, and will fight it all the way. So Trump breaking the gag order would mean he would be slapped with a $1,000 fine and as many as 30 days in jail. And obviously they would push for that because that's how they are. They want to. I'm going to show you something that Biden said earlier, so you're going to understand why they're doing this. Despite the pending order, Trump plans to make a speech this evening, so he did. And after peacefully submitting himself to the prosecution in New York. So I'm sorry, tomorrow evening. Right? Yeah, tomorrow evening he's going to give a speech apparently. But the thing is that this is a huge spectacle. Apparently they leaked the charges. I mean, this is them trying to stop the man from becoming president. And, this type of political persecution only happens in third world countries. This kind of stuff does happen like all the time in other countries. But I'm going to show you a clip right now. Biden said the quiet part out loud. The part that he wasn't supposed to say, he said it today. So here you go. Let me start over.
We just have to demonstrate that he will not take power. If he does run, making sure he, under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, does not become the next president again. Under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, does not become the next president again.
So what does that mean? He's literally.
We just have to demonstrate that he will not take power. If he does run, making sure he, under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, does not become the next president again.
So first off, obviously he's saying exactly what he wants to do. He wants to keep Trump from even being a threat for becoming the candidate. And the reason why he knows that is because Trump would have won the 2020 election. Obviously, we know that spike that happened at 2 a.m. But the other thing is, I want you to notice like how he just talked. That's Joe Biden. Whereas I did the video the other night talking about what I believe is AI deep fake and how crisp that Joe Biden was, whichever one that was. Don't know if it was the deep fake or the clone. Who knows what it is, but that totally different, right? In speech. And the country's going down the literal pooper right now. I don't know if you saw this, but the spy balloon scandal, they actually did gather intel on U.S. military and sent it back to China in real time. The Chinese spy balloon that flew across the U.S. successfully gathered intel from sensitive U.S. military sites and transmitted it back to Beijing. So a lot of people were like, well, they could have used Google Maps to get it. No. That's not, they're not wanting to freaking map it. They're doing something else, guys. Come on. Like really, you think they didn't figure out Google Maps? They weren't just taking photos. Despite the Biden's regime's efforts to block it, they still got, when they say that, I'm reading what they said, that despite the Biden regime's effort to block, they didn't freaking try to block anything. They could have shot that thing down long before they let it fly across all of our military bases, especially the strategic ones in Montana, where our missile freaking silos are for nukes, right? So the national security breach was confirmed by 2 senior U.S. military officials and 1 former senior administration official. China was able to control the balloon remotely to conduct multiple passovers. Now, our media wanted to say no, it wasn't able to be controlled. No, they had control of it. They could control this thing, the direction. So it flew over exactly every place that it wanted to fly over. It picked up weapons system electronic signals and communication between personnel. So it was a surveillance balloon as well, as far as like surveillance as in gathering information like communications. Kathy Urban, thank you. So remember, we were told it wasn't shot down earlier because it really wasn't a risk. Remember them saying that? Oh, it's not really a threat. That's what they said. No, they were sending back data in real time, right? It wasn't like it was stored onto the balloon. No. It was sent back real freaking time to China. So they got information. So Joe Biden waiting to keep Americans safe to let it fly over the entire country, right, by not shooting it down, actually let them complete their mission. So they didn't care, right? I want to tell you, like, right now where the country stands. Okay, just a snapshot of some things. McDonald's just shut down offices for layoffs notices, one of the biggest corporations in America. Saudi Arabia and other top oil producers announced oil production cuts. What does that mean? It's not like it's not high enough. Japan ditches the freaking US and allies and will purchase oil from Russia above cost. Let me throw this up there for you. This is freaking unprecedented. If you didn't know, we pretty much owned Japan after World War II. So now Japan breaks with US and allies to buy Russian oil at prices above cap. Yep. So even our own freaking allies. Hey, Dave, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. Even our own allies are cutting us off. So we're about to be like by ourselves out here, is what's about to happen, right? India ditches the US dollar in the new trade deal. Country music, all you country music fans out there. So country music, let me throw this up there. Award last night celebrates transgenders a week after 6 Christians were murdered by one. They're also pushing gun control. If the music wasn't terrible enough, you have a reason to stop listening to it now, guys. If the music wasn't terrible enough, and if you are a country music fan, so that they're going not only promoting transgenders, but they're also pushing gun control. And if your favorite artist doesn't, if you're a country music fan, if your favorite artist doesn't boycott this movement, then they're paid shills. So you need to just go ahead and cut them off, stop supporting them. Go put the pressure on them to fight against this because they have the power to do that. Bud Light celebrates. I just talked about what last night. Transgenders a week after 6 Christians were murdered by one, and they don't say it was a hate crime. In matter of fact, CNBC said to stop using transgender shooter, stop labeling the shooter as a transgender, and don't even bring up that it was targeted because it was a Christian school. Don't bring that up, And the White House is celebrating transgenders a week after 6 Christians were murdered by one as well. This is Biden's America, guys. This is where we're at. So I guess tomorrow we're going to see how the Trump arraignment will play out. I do believe, because Trump is a marketer, he's a marketing freaking genius, that he will do the perp walk in the middle of the day in handcuffs. I think he'll do it. There's not a better marketing display than that. I'm sure the Secret Service, like I said, will try to press him not to, because that's going to be a very difficult area to secure. The other thing I read is I read multiple articles from various leftist news organizations, because I do look at all news, just to see what everyone's spinning. Spinning is a term of what they're basically lying about. And I saw multiple talk about Trump serving time. Like, apparently they're truly pushing for the man to go to prison, if not jail, leading up to his trial. So they're really going after it. And this is the thing: is, do you think Donald Trump, I mean, one of the most famous people in our time, could have a fair, impartial jury? Hell no, not a chance. Especially in New York. No, it's a Democrat-ran state, so, or city. And so, we have what's his name, Eric Adams, the mayor up there. He's already making threats, and he's solidifying what the professor said from the other night, where we're in a cold civil war, where he basically called out conservatives, to not go up there and act like you have sense or whatever. But it just shows that, and he even called out Marjorie Taylor Greene, whether you like her or not. But the thing is, I thought it was very irresponsible and professional. Thanks, Mike. We don't know yet, man. We gotta wait to see on that. He's asking about the gag order. We're gonna see. I mean, they're trying to put a gag order on him. Obviously, they're gonna fight it. First Amendment attorneys, he's got on it already. So, I mean, he's prepared for it. I mean, he's not an idiot, and he's a rich man. So, with money comes power. But I think you see the societal divide right now, and it's only going to get stronger. And this professor that I showed the other night, now he's a leftist, but I think he's spot on that we're in a cold civil war. Trump is the avatar for it. And a lot on how this plays out, because if you look at a lot of countries, a lot of third world countries, or countries that went into decline, these sort of things are the steps that are taken. First, political opponents are prosecuted, persecuted, political persecution, in jail, and then the decline happens after that. Usually firearms taken is right after that, because there's no way to fight against it, to fight against any type of rebellion. Josh, thanks, man. Yeah, exactly. So it's a good point. If they get you to be quiet, they shut you down. Look at this. I remembered this today. Kanye West. Remember, Kanye West came out breathing fire, what, 4 or 5, 6 months ago? The dude has vanished. Obviously, someone got to him and shut him up, right? They'll put you in jail. They might have threatened to put him in jail. Who knows? They just put Andrew Tate and his brother in jail. They just got out on house arrest. But the thing is that if you have a significant amount of power, and power through following, and they see you as a threat, they'll jail you or kill you. And who knows what happens at that level? I can only speculate, but I do know, some famous people. And what they'll say is that you have to be extremely careful about what you say, because your career will be ended, right? You have to play ball. Or either, you notice how there's some actors that you never see, they don't have social media, you never hear anything about them. It's because they don't even want to play ball. They don't believe in the nonsense. So they have this like air of mystery about them. But the air of mystery is just because they don't want to be put in a place where they have to make a statement they don't believe in. So a lot of these actors that you see that are just quiet, silent, never see them on anything, it's because they don't want to play ball, but they also don't want to get cut off from the industry or killed. Who knows how it goes, But trust me, there's very powerful people out there. I think Joe Rogan, 2 weeks ago, was talking about this, about how there was certain important people that wanted to meet with him, and he didn't want to meet with them, right? Because obviously they're going to try to put the screws to you. He's to a point that he's uncancelable. And the thing is Joe Rogan is not the Messiah or anything. He's a flip flopper. We've seen him flip flop. He seems to be on the right side of the path right now, but somebody that flip flops like that, you can't really trust. So we'll see. Yeah, Deborah, 100% traditionalist. That's the term that I'm going by now. I am a traditionalist because there's too much. Yeah, I mean, there's Dan Crenshaw's in in the Republican Party. I actually saw David Goggins call out Dan Crenshaw the other day on a podcast. I thought it was pretty good. But anyway, we'll see tomorrow, guys. We'll see how it turns out. I'm excited for it. I think he's supposed to show up 11:30 Eastern Standard Time at the courthouse. I just want to see what happens. It's FBI is probably going to be trying to plant some instigators there. We're probably going to see some things like January 6th, maybe. If they're lucky to do whatever they want to do. Try to make conservatives look bad. But I think it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Anyhow, guys, leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on everything. Are you a country music fan? Are you switching now? And let me know what kind of music you listen to. If not, that'd be a good comment section. Let me know what type of music you listen to. I'm curious. Anyhow, guys, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and stay dangerous. Oh, actually, stop before we go. I forgot. Gosh, two things. First off, we still have my good friend Chimbutu and I did a collaboration together of these amazing bracelets, right? And they're on site. I'll put the link below. And these are supporting homeless veterans. Okay, I designed these. They have precious metals, sterling silver, gold plated. But check them out. Put the link below. Help me support homeless veterans. We're donating to a homeless veterans charity with that. And then also another veteran thing is my buddy Jonathan McNeese makes these amazing neck knives. I think if I still have the photo here, let me see. I still have the photo. I do not. But anyway, I don't want to open up all the way, but these amazing neck knives made by him in America. I guess I'll go ahead and open up. Made by him here in America. I'm going to give away something too, but amazing neck knife, slice and dice. So it's designed to be held like this, so you almost can't even see it. It's got the Black Scout crest there, and it's like sharp as a razor. You can really split someone open with this, or just use it to cut box open, things like that. But anyhow, I got two special hats, right? Two custom. These are the only ones made, and two people that order one of those knives tonight will get one of these hats as well, right? So anyhow, help me support. Get you some bracelets. Chimbutu, he's a good man, good friend of mine. Always wears bracelets. And grab some that I designed to help support veterans. And grab a knife so you can get a hat. And links will be below. And as always, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and now stay dangerous. Take care.